Hello everyone. In today's session of current electricity, we are going to have a look at further two more last applications of potentiometer. In the previous applications, we have actually studied what is potentiometer and what is its principle of working. As a revision, we will have a look at the principle of working again. The principle of working tells you that for a potentiometer wire carrying steady current through it, the potential gradient is always constant, or for a potentiometer wire carrying steady current through it, the potential difference per unit length is constant, or I can say the potential difference between any 2 points is directly proportional to distance between those 2 points. So what we understand is that if you have this distance AP here seen as maybe your uh, AP is equal to, let's say, length small l, then this voltage between A and P, potential difference between A and P is equal to K multiplied by length L, where K is called potential gradient. So we have already had a look at its proof that VAP is equal to K multiplied by L, where K is called potential gradient and it is actually equal to VAB divided by L. So this is the basic idea of potentiometer principle of working. We have earlier studied the application of potentiometer to compare its EMF by using a method called as sum and difference method. Today we will go for the other two more applications of potentiometer, that is to compare EMF by using individual method. While seeing the earlier thing, we have already said that in every potentiometer circuit we have a part common, that is point A here, point B is here, and you have A and B, they are connected to a battery, key and a rheostat. This is called primary circuit of potentiometer, and it is very essential for every potentiometer to function, because this battery is going to give you the current, constant current flowing through potentiometer wire AB, without which the potentiometer cannot function. So this is a must circuit for all of us. In the secondary circuit here, in this case we have a slight change, and there are two cells. One is cell of EMF E1, the other is cell of EMF E2. Both their positives, they are connected to point A here. The negative of E1 as well as negative of E2, they are connected to four-way key terminals which are opposite to each other. The next terminal of four-way key is connected to a galvanometer, and the next of the galvanometer is connected to device called a jockey. So what we do is that initially when this key K in the primary circuit is inserted, we use this four-way key, touch or insert a key between this terminal and in this terminal, and when I touch it between this to this, when I put a key between these, E1 cell gets connected to a galvanometer in this secondary circuit. Then you can take your jockey, tap it once near point A, once near point B, and you will find that there is a both sided deflection, one's at point A and one's at point B when you touch it. So here you can have a deflection here or here, both sided. Then you tap it at this point, at this point, at this point, and at some point P you will be able to find that there is no deflection seen in the galvanometer. It is called the distance from A point to that particular point where you find zero deflection. It is called balancing length. If that length is L1, it is getting balanced because the EMF of this cell E1 is equal to K times of L1. So you can have a look at this equation, that if L1 is your balancing length, then it is balancing its EMF. E1 is equal to KL1. This is your equation number 1. Similarly, what I just have to do is I can have a look at this circuit again, and I'll find now I remove this key and I put a key between this to this point, and when I tap it somewhere here or when I touch it here, E2 is now connected in the circuit. Touch a jockey once near point A, once near point B, and you will again have a both sided deflection. Try to find where is the balancing length, supposing that balancing length comes here. Then at that time, this balancing length L2 between A to this point, having voltage equal to KL2, is balancing this EMF of cell E2. So then in this case we are going to have E2 is equal to K times of L2. That's what you find. Now I can have equation 1 divided by equation 2. If I do, I'll be able to find that E1 upon E2 is equal to L1 upon L2. In the experimental arrangement, you can actually measure what are the values of L1 and L2, and then try to you can say measure what is the EMF ratio of the two cells. E1 by E2 can be calculated like this. In the third and the last application of potentiometer which we are going to study, that is to determine the internal resistance of cell, we are once again going to have a similar kind of circuit. If you see, the primary part of the circuit is exactly similar. You have got, you see, your AB wire, potentiometer wire, connected to a battery, key and a rheostat. This is primary circuit. Once again, there is a change in the secondary circuit here. The cell whose EMF I have to determine is connected, is positive, is connected to point A, negative is connected to a galvanometer. Galvanometer's next terminal is getting connected to jockey, and across this cell of EMF E and internal resistance R, which we have to determine, we are connecting a resistance box here, and there is a key in the circuit to that. By using this key, if I name it as maybe K2, you can either switch on this and then the current will be supplied by this cell in the secondary circuit, or you can keep it off. Once I keep this K2 off, in the off position, what I do is initially I put on this key K1. It is always mandatory for us to put this key K1 on, and I put this K2 key off. Then I touch my jockey once near point A, once near point B, and the galvanometer will give you both sided deflection. Then you tap your jockey on wire AB and try to find where is the balancing length. Maybe your balancing length comes somewhere at this point. In this case, your EMF of cell E is getting balanced by this, and that's how you see I can write the equation. E is equal to, it is K times of L1. So that is what the equation is going to be. E is equal to K times of L1. What I do next is I choose some suitable value of resistance from this resistance box here. I choose, maybe it can be 2 ohm, 5 ohm, 10 ohm, whatever. And then you insert this key K2. The cell will now start sending current. In this case, the cell sends current in this particular circuit. Here it will be. And now if I touch my jockey once near point A and once near point B, you again will find both sided deflection. Then try to find where is the balancing length L2, supposing if it comes somewhere at this point. At this instant of time, the potential difference between this and this point, or the potential difference across this external resistance capital R, that gets balanced. So therefore we are going to have a, you see, V, the potential difference is going to be equal to K times of L2. That is the equation 2 that I find. If I take ratio of these two equations, I find E upon V is equal to, it is L1 divided by L2. But E itself, according to Ohm's law applied to complete circuit, is I into bracket capital R plus small r. V is equal to I into R as per Ohm's law. I substitute all these values and I find that therefore I into bracket capital R plus small r upon IR is equal to L1 upon L2. You solve this mathematically and you will find that therefore I find that small r is equal to, it is capital R into bracket L1 upon L2 minus 1, which of course I can write it as even capital R into bracket L1 minus L2 divided by L2. As all the quantities on the right hand side, capital R, L1, L2, everything is known to us, you can find what is the internal resistance of the cell. So that was the last application of a potentiometer. These were the two applications of potentiometer which we wanted to have a look at. So thank you very much for watching this video as well.